Stop worrying about what others think, even if they are your closest ones. Focus on yourself, work on yourself, and think about how to change yourself. Today, we will tell you a story about this. Let's begin. Once upon a time, a very wise monk lived in a hut near a forest. Whoever came to him with their problems, he would solve them with great wisdom. One day, he went to a nearby village to beg for alms. As he was returning, a young man stopped him and said, "I've heard that you solve any problem with great wisdom. Although I don't fully believe you can solve my complex problem, I've heard many stories about your wisdom. So, I want to ask you something. Why do we fear failure in any task, and how can we achieve our goals without the fear of failure?" Hearing the young man's question, the wise monk smiled and said, "I will surely answer your question, and afterward, all your fears will vanish. But first, you must come with me to my hut." The young man, eager to test the monk's wisdom, agreed to go to the hut. By the time they reached the hut near the forest, it was evening, so they ate and went to sleep. The next day, the wise monk said to the young man, "Let's take a walk in the forest today." They both set out towards the forest. After a while, the wise monk showed the young man a cave and said, "Let me show you around this cave." The young man replied, "Yes, let's go. I've wanted to see this forest cave for a long time." They both entered the cave, which was very dark inside. After a short while, the wise monk quietly slipped out of the cave and closed the entrance from the outside. The young man called out loudly, "Monk, where are you? Why did you leave? Why aren't you answering me?" After not getting any response for a long time, he became anxious and rushed towards the cave entrance. When he reached the entrance, he was shocked to find it closed from the outside. He thought, "How will I get out now?" Alone and scared in the dark cave, he wondered if the monk had planned to harm him. He started wandering inside the cave, looking for a way out, but found none. Feeling extremely thirsty and hungry, he sat down quietly. Then, he saw sunlight coming through a tunnel. Although the tunnel was very high and difficult to reach, he got up immediately, forgetting his hunger and thirst, and focused all his energy on getting out of the cave. After a lot of hard work and effort, he reached the tunnel and started climbing. Suddenly, he saw the monk extending his hand. The young man quickly grabbed the monk's hand and came out of the cave. As soon as he got out, he shouted angrily, "Monk, have you lost your mind? You left me alone in that dark cave. Do you know how scared I was? I was extremely thirsty." The monk, smiling, gave him some water and said, "Now listen carefully. You managed to get out of the cave for two reasons. First, you were extremely thirsty and hungry. Second, you felt suffocated inside because you were used to living with friends and family. Now let me tell you the two main reasons why you succeeded in getting out. First, there was no one in the cave to tell you that it was impossible to reach the tunnel in such darkness. Second, there was no one to suggest finding an easier way out. Success follows a similar rule. I have shown you a small world of how success is achieved, but the real world is much more complex. Many people will offer advice, saying it's too difficult or impossible. These people, who haven't achieved anything themselves, will distract you and make you doubt yourself. A major reason for not achieving success is that the process is very long. When our minds change in hours, why wouldn't they change during months or years of effort to achieve a goal? We abandon our paths and start looking for different ones. Gautama Buddha often told his disciples that problems only appear when our focus is not on our goal. This is 100% true. When an archer aims, he closes one eye and focuses only on the target with the other. This is how he hits his mark. Similarly, we fear failure only when our attention is not on our goal, but on the obstacles in the way. You succeeded in getting out of the cave because you saw nothing but the light coming from the tunnel. If the cave had been lit, you would have been scared by the big holes and insects and would have wandered aimlessly. So, focus all your attention on your goal and stop worrying about what is happening around you. Stop paying attention to what your friends and relatives are doing or whether they have succeeded. Focus only on your work. When your time comes, people will stand and applaud you." After saying this, the wise monk fell silent. The young man said, "Monk, you have opened my eyes today. Every word you said was full of wisdom. Now I understand why everyone considers you so wise. I promise that from today, I will never let the fear of failure trouble me. I will focus entirely on my work and soon become a successful person." Saying this, the young man thanked the wise monk and returned to his village.